Jedediah Leland, Kane's close friend until their bit of falling out,
Hello, Jedediah.
is the trickiest narrator in Citizen Kane.
Hello, Charlie.
His flashbacks, if we can call them that, often don't feature him at all.
I think I'd prefer a rival of flesh and blood.
He is not present for the dissolution of Kane's first marriage over the breakfast table.
People will think.
What I tell them to think.
Nor Kane's meet cute with mistress and eventual second wife Susan Alexander.
What is the matter with you, young lady?
Nor the blackmail event with boss Jim Geddes that changes the course of Kane's life.
This Mr. Kane makes up his mind by tomorrow that he's so sick he has to go away for a year or two. Monday morning, every paper in the state except his will carry the story I'm going to give him.
Even when Leland is present, his role is often not that important.
Friend of the working man, the next governor of this state.
And yet Leland cultivates a distinct impression, not only of himself, but more importantly, of his view of Kane. What Leland contributes to this section of the film as its narrator
The downright villainy!
has more to do with tone and structure than eyewitness detail. The force of his personality creates a frame around the picture he paints, since what we do see is determined by whatever he wants to emphasize.
Mr. Leland is writing it from the dramatic angle?
Leland's section is by far the longest of any narrator, 36 minutes total, taking us far closer to Kane's personal life and private thoughts than the earlier passages, or the later ones for that matter,
What are you doing?
and offering a caustic but perhaps subtly empathetic perspective
You're going to get more than one lesson.
Don't worry about me, Geddes.
that carries more bite than Thatcher's pathetic hatred and more weight than Bernstein's glowing hagiography.
I'm Charles Foster Kane!
An old-school chum from a wealthy but disgraced family,
Maybe I wasn't his friend, but if I wasn't, he never had one.
who is characterized by rebellious and judgmental qualities
A pretty but hopelessly incompetent amateur.
in equal and intertwined measure. Leland is in some ways the perfect person to witness Kane's foray into politics, bookended by the collapse of one romance and the initiation of another.
I'm Susan Alexander.
And yet, he's on screen a good deal less in these scenes than Susan, who will get her own narrated flashback immediately after his.
You talk about the people as though you own them.
Aside from his purgative monologue after Kane's gubernatorial loss, Leland has only a handful of lines.
I knew I'd never get that through.
Most of what we glean of his reaction to these events is gathered from the present-day interview,
You just don't know Charlie. He thought that by finishing that notice, he could show me he was an honest man. He was always trying to prove something.
less scattered than Thatcher's section, but far more sweeping than Bernstein's in both time span and location. Leland captures the era of Kane's greatest ascension into the public sphere, when his ambitions were the most serious and possibly altruistic.
The working man! The working man! And the slum child know they can expect my best efforts in their interests.
When he was in touch with the zeitgeist, when he seemed to be mapping out a life of triumph rather than tragedy. Tellingly, for a man so associated with breaking the bonds of the 19th century and creating the conditions of the 20th, Kane's decline occurs before that century hits full swing. He prefigures modernity, but cannot survive its initiation. This era is his peak, the progressive age spanning from the Spanish-American War that he helps cause to World War I, which he opposes. And it's all downhill from here for the newsman, undone by his very own front-page scandal.
Big speech, Mr. Kane. Great. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, this is taxi. Boy, I thought we
I'm
were...
sending Junior home in the car, Charles, with Oliver.
Night, Father!
Bye, son.
To paraphrase Jean-Pierre Gorin's epitaph for the 60s radicals, Kane has shaken the foundations of the period he was steeped in
Emily.
so forcefully that he ushered in a world he himself could hardly live in.
Why'd you send Junior home to the car, Emily?
Certainly, Leland does not wish to live in it either.
You know that young doctor I was telling you about? Well, he's got an idea he wants to keep me alive.
Leland's section is structured in 3 movements: the breakfast table montage, which lasts just a couple minutes, the lengthy juxtaposition of Kane's affair and political campaign, which eventually crash together. This is located at the midpoint of everything, the climactic centerpiece of the film and really of Kane's whole life. And the 2-scene coda revolving around Susan's operatic debut. Taken together, Leland is presenting us with a series of collapses,
I simply can't have it in the nursery.
of Kane's first marriage, of Kane's political ambitions,
To take the love of the people of this state away from me?
and finally of whatever remained of his friendship with Leland,
Charlie?
or the possibility of it being renewed after estrangement.
Charlie?
If the texture of Leland's section comes closer to claustrophobic, intrigue-filled film noir than the flavor of Bernstein's prankish hijinks,
I'm drunk.
in spirit, it may be a tragic love story. Hidden beneath the folds of Emily's alienation and Susan's entrapment is Leland's own bitter disappointment in discovering Kane's feet of clay.
Miss Alexander, don't bother. I'm not interested.
And his scorn is cultivated less by the affair, which Leland claims to have known about from the beginning,
I've set back the sacred cause of reform. Is that it?
and less by the hollowness of Kane's paternalistic rhetoric, which Leland cheerfully applauds until it falls short at the ballot box,
People have made that choice.
and more simply by the fact of Kane's failure, that in the end, Kane is no better than he, Leland, is. Leland has the most complex relationship with Kane of anyone who tells his story.
Toast, Jedediah, to love on my terms. Those are the only terms anybody ever knows.
Complexity rendered with further ambiguity
His own.
by how the film presents Kane to us within the framework chosen by Leland.
You want to know what I think about Charlie Kane?
Think how often, even in his lowest moments, Kane in these scenes engages our sympathy.
Sail away to a desert island, probably, and lord it over the monkeys.
When the Kane whom Leland scolds displays more humility than his lecturer,
There'll probably be a few of them there to let me know when I do something wrong.
when Kane's extramarital affair is initiated with genuine warmth and touching vulnerability,
I was on my way to the Western Manhattan warehouse in search of my youth.
when even Kane's moment of ultimate disgrace is delivered with a thundering stand on principle.
I can fight this all alone.
Indeed, when Kane meets Leland's cruel, if honest takedown of Susan with a good deal more grace, wit, and follow-through than the would-be provocateur,
I'm going to finish Mr. Leland's notice.
is the film itself escaping Leland's desire to depict Kane in a primarily negative light?
I am drunk.
Or is it illuminating an admiration and a compassion for Kane, Charlie as Leland always calls him, a nickname both belittling and affectionate,
Xanadu.
which still lingers beneath Leland's performative antipathy?
I guess maybe I'm not as hard to see through as I think. Well, I never even answered his letter. Maybe I should have.
In a film that often delights in painting Kane as larger than life, but also hollow, which uses both figurative and literal obstructions to block a close view, which indeed at all points mediates our exposure to him through the perspectives of other characters, Leland's recounting of Kane's middle years are the most we ever really get to know the man himself. In the past, I've compared Leland's negative review of Susan's opera debut to a cocked pistol he hands to Kane, more suicide than murder. But there's also a sense in which Kane's self-destructive streak merges with Leland's own,
I didn't know we were speaking.
not only in the perversity
Sure we're speaking, Jedediah.
of Kane's commitment to finishing Leland's prose attack,
You're fired.
but also the decision to stage Susan's debut performance
Charlie, I want you to let me work on the Chicago paper. What?
in the very city that Leland has moved to in order to escape Kane's shadow.
Dramatic notice. Mr. Bernstein, that's Mr. Leland, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Kane, we're waiting for it.
Who exactly is punishing and provoking whom here?
Where is he?
Of course, in the end, as so often, it's Susan who gets the worst of it.
What you need is to get your mind off it.
Susan who is opening doors when Kane tries to close them. Susan who innocently tells Kane
Well, you know what mothers are like.
and inadvertently seals her fate.
Yes, I know.
Susan who asks
Well, what about me?
and gets no answer. Although much of Leland's section has been about Susan,
The day after he'd met her, he told me about her.
his subject has been her effect on Kane.
She was a cross-section of the American public.
It is left to Susan to explain Kane's effect on her
She must have had something for him.
It was his idea.
in all its warping horror.
Everything was his idea. Except my leaving him.
Il mio cuore